Hey everyone. Before we dive into today's story, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, and drop a comment letting me know where you're watching from and what time it is there. It really helps YouTube recommend more stories like this one to you. Alright, let's jump right in.
The first time I saw him, I thought it was just a trick of the light dot. It was around 1 a.m. I was parked outside this sketchy-looking duplex, waiting for the customer to come out and grab their food. Cold wind was cutting through the crack in my window. I was scrolling on my phone, half dead from doing back-to-back deliveries since 6 p.m. when I caught something in my side mirror, someone standing about 20 feet behind my car. I snapped my head around, but there was no one there. I looked back at the mirror, empty street. Dim porch lights, nothing but my exhaust curling into the air. Still, I swear for that 1 second, I saw a man standing there. No movement, no face I could make out, just a tall shape watching me. I laughed it off kinda nervously. Long shifts do that to you. You get weird, paranoid, but it didn't stop there. By the third delivery, same night it happened again. I had just dropped off an order at a quiet cul-de-sac, like dead quiet. Not a single window lit, the kind of place that feels abandoned after dark. As I got back into my car, I looked in the mirror to back out, and there he was, standing still. Same spot behind the car. Like he just appeared. This time I didn't even check behind me. I froze. He was tall, wearing something dark, I think a hoodie, maybe a jacket, but the lighting was too low to see a face. And then, I blinked, gone, walked away, gone. Just not there anymore. I got the hell out of that neighborhood. I didn't even tell anyone until the 4th time. That night, I was delivering downtown, near the warehouse district. I parked in front of an apartment building, waiting for the guy to buzz me in. While I waited, I started scanning the mirrors again. I don't know why. Habit. Fear. I couldn't stop looking for him. I felt cold, even though the heater was on full blast. I stared at the driver's side mirror. Nothing. Then, just before I looked away, a shape flickered in the reflection. Closer this time, I turned around. Still nothing behind me. I didn't sleep that night. Just laid on the couch with the lights on, phone clutched in my hand like a weapon. Week went by. No sightings. I convinced myself it was just stress, overwork, my brain making up shadows. Then came the 3 delivery that broke me. It was out in the hills. North side of town, all winding roads and giant houses with too many security cameras. The order was from some huge glass and steel mansion that looked like no one lived there. The instructions said, leave it at the side door. Do not knock. I walked around the side of the house, which was completely dark. No porch lights. Just this eerie, buzzing silence and the sound of my shoes crunching on gravel. As I placed the bag on the step, I felt it again. That feeling like someone was behind me, breathing softly. Close enough to touch, I spun around, but there was nothing but the woods and my car way down the drive. And in the side mirror of my car, from that far away, I could see him again. But this time, he was walking toward me. I sprinted. Full panic. I didn't look at the mirror again. I floored it out of the driveway and didn't stop until I reached a gas station 10 miles away. I sat there in the lot, shaking, headlights on, music blasting, just trying to breathe. Then I made the mistake of glancing at the mirror again. Empty. Except the reflection didn't match what was behind me. In the mirror, the gas station sign was flickering, but when I turned around, the actual sign was steady. I looked back, still flickering. The mirror was lying, and then just barely behind the gas pumps in the reflection. I saw him, standing still, watching me. I threw up in the parking lot. I tried to quit. I didn't even open the app the next day. I stayed inside with all the curtains drawn and both mirrors in the hallway covered with sheets. But it didn't matter. It followed me. It was the bathroom mirror. That night, Brushing my teeth, I bent down to rinse. And when I looked up, he was standing in the hallway behind me. Same figure. Same stillness. No face. Just this black void where his eyes should have been. I spun around and there was nothing there. The hallway was empty. But in the mirror, he was still standing there. I told my friend Josh everything. He thought I was losing it. Too much caffeine, not enough sleep. That kind of thing. So I begged him to come on a delivery with me. Just one. As proof, he agreed, half joking. But I was dead serious. We did a few easy ones. Nothing strange. No sign of anything. Then we got a late night order to a trailer park on the edge of town. I parked under a flickering street lamp. Josh stayed in the car while I walked up to the door. Dropped off the food, snapped the photo. Turned to leave and froze. Josh was out of the car. He was standing 20 feet behind it. Facing me, completely still, just like him. I whispered, "Josh?" He didn't move, didn't answer. I walked a few steps closer. My heart started beating weird. "Josh?" I said louder. Then I blinked, and he was gone. I sprinted to the car, yanked the door open. Josh was inside, looking at me like I was insane. "What the hell are you doing?" he said. I couldn't speak. I just stared at the mirror. It showed two Josh Es. One inside the car, and one standing outside. Josh grabbed my shoulders because I wouldn't stop staring at the side mirror. "Dude, talk to me," he said, shaking me a little. "What did you see?" I couldn't explain it. Not without sounding insane. Not without repeating the same nightmare I'd been living with for weeks. So I just said, "You were outside the car." His face twisted. "I've been sitting here the whole time." I looked back at the mirror again. Now it only showed the real Josh. Just him. Just one. Nothing standing behind the car. Nothing staring at me with that stillness that felt wrong in my bones. "Let's go," I said, my voice cracking. "Please, just drive." "I can't." Okay, he muttered, starting the engine. As he pulled out of the trailer park, I hugged myself and pressed my forehead against the window. My skin felt too tight. My ears were ringing. The world outside looked unreal, like a video on someone else's phone. Josh didn't talk for a while. Then he said, "Do you want to pull over somewhere? Get food? Sit down?" "No," I whispered. "Just get me home." We got to my apartment around 3:30 a.m. The parking lot was empty. The kind of empty where sound feels like it gets swallowed. I didn't even check the mirrors. I stared straight ahead, breathing shallow, waiting for Josh to say something normal. Something grounding. "Look," he said gently. "I don't think you're crazy. I just think maybe you're overtired. You're seeing reflections, weird, shadows, stuff like that." I nodded. I didn't believe him, but I nodded. "Text me if it gets worse," he said. "Okay." I stepped out, shut the door, and he drove off. And as his taillights disappeared around the corner, the parking lot went dead silent. Not normal quiet, a thick, suffocating kind of silence. No crickets. No wind. Not even the distant hum of the highway. Just nothing. My skin crawled. I forced myself forward, keys shaking in my hand. I reached my building door and caught my reflection in the glass. My reflection looked wrong, not like a different face wrong, just slightly delayed. Like it blinked a half second after I did. I jerked away from it and stumbled inside. I didn't sleep. I sat in my living room with every light on, watching the reflective surfaces in the apartment, the TV screen, the microwave door, the oven window. Even the black metal on the lamp base. Every surface was a potential place for him to show up. Around 5 a.m. My eyes were burning. My head felt full of sand. I needed rest, but the apartment felt tighter and tighter, like the walls were listening. I walked to the bathroom and stood in the doorway, staring at the mirror. It was fogged slightly from the shower I'd taken hours earlier. My reflection looked blurred. Safe. I stepped forward. and wiped a small circle in the fog. My reflection blinked wrong again. My heart fell through the floor. I stepped back, and the reflection stepped forward. My knees nearly gave out. I backed into the hallway shaking. "No," I whispered. "No, no, no." The reflection tilted its head. I ran. I didn't stop running until I was outside, barefoot, freezing. The sky was starting to lighten, but the air felt colder than it should have. I called Josh. He answered on the second ring, tired and confused. "Dude, it's barely morning." "What now?" "He was in my reflection," I gasped. "Not a shadow, me, but not me." "Okay, slow down. I need a place to stay. Just for a night, please." He sighed hard. Yeah, okay. Come over." I started walking toward the road. My breath puffed white in front of me even though it wasn't that cold. Halfway across the parking lot, I made the mistake of glancing at a car window. As I passed it, my reflection wasn't looking at me. It was looking behind me. I didn't turn around. I just ran. When I got to Josh's place, I was shaking so hard he had to hold my arm to steady me. "You look like hell," he said softly. "Just crash on the couch, man." His apartment felt safer. Smaller, warmer, fewer reflective surfaces. Only the TV and a window by the balcony. I curled up on the couch and closed my eyes. I must have passed out instantly. When I woke up, afternoon light was coming through the blinds. It felt normal for the first time in days. I sat up slowly. Josh wasn't in the room, but I heard him in the kitchen making something. For a second, one blissful second, I felt like myself again, and then I saw the TV screen. Black off. Reflection. I froze. My reflection wasn't sitting on the couch. It was standing right behind me. I spun around so fast I fell off the couch. Nothing was there. Nothing in the room. Nothing on the balcony. Just empty space and the sound of my own heart trying to rip through my ribs. I crawled backward, staring at the TV. My reflection was still there. Still standing. And then it raised its hand and tapped the glass from inside. A soft, hollow tap, tap, tap. "Josh!" I screamed. "Josh, get in here." He ran in, panicked, but as soon as the lights flicked on, the reflection snapped back to normal. "I swear," I choked out. "I swear it tapped." Josh sat down beside me. "Listen, I believe you think you're seeing this, okay? I'm not gonna call you crazy. But we need help. Like real help. A doctor, sleep, something." "It's not in my head," I whispered. "It's in the mirrors." "I'm calling someone," he said. He stepped into the hallway to grab his phone. I sat there, trembling, staring at the now normal reflection on the TV. I watched it carefully. It watched me back. Then, slowly, so slowly, it smiled. IDN single quotes D. My reflection did. I scrambled to my feet and backed into the corner of the room. "Josh?" I croaked. "Josh, get back here, please." No answer. "Josh." Still no answer. I ran into the hallway. Empty. Bathroom door open. Bedroom door open. I checked every room. Josh wasn't there. The apartment was silent, except for a faint, rhythmic tapping coming from the living room. Tap, tap, tap. I turned, blood roaring in my ears. The tapping was coming from the TV. I stepped back into the room. My reflection was gone. The screen showed the room behind me, the same angle, same lighting, but I wasn't in it. Instead, he was standing there, not a shadow, not a blur. A man. Tall, dark hoodie, no face. Just a deep, empty black where the features should have been. And he was standing exactly where I should have been. I backed away, shaking violently. "Where's Josh?" I whispered. The figure in the TV tilted its head. Then, the screen went black and I heard it. A soft inhale, right behind me. I don't remember how I got out of the apartment. I don't remember the stairwell or the street or the bus I must have taken because I woke up hours later. sitting at the back of a city bus with no idea how long I'd been riding, but I remember the windows, the way the reflections of the other passengers didn't always move when the real people did, the way I couldn't look for too long without feeling him in the corners of my vision. Haven't seen Josh since that day. His phone goes straight to voicemail. His apartment was cleared out a week later. Landlord said he moved suddenly. I know that's a lie. Something took him or replaced him, and now I see the man in reflections everywhere, in shop windows, in car doors, in darkened phone screens. Sometimes he's close, sometimes he's far, sometimes he stands right behind me. But the worst part? I've started noticing something new when I look in mirrors now. My reflection blinks later and later, like it's falling out of sync, like it's trying to separate from me, like soon. It won't be me in there anymore, and tonight, in the bathroom mirror of this rundown motel, the only place I could afford after I lost my job and my sanity, my reflection smiled again. I didn't. I swear I didn't. It smiled and stepped closer to the glass and whispered, "You're almost ready." The second my GPS rerouted and the pavement disappeared under my tires, I knew I'd made a mistake. I was halfway through a Friday night shift, doing deliveries through a 30 courier app that specializes in off-grid orders, cabins, farms, trailers in the woods. Higher pay, but weirder drop dash-offs. The job said, one large parcel, delivered to private residence. GPS coordinates provided. Do not contact customer. Sketchy as hell. But it was a $150 payout. So I accepted it. Regret hit fast. About 20 minutes outside the city, the paved road cracked into gravel, then into dirt. The kind that rattles your bones and makes your steering wheel fight back. I stopped to double-check the GPS. The destination was still another 6 miles up, through dense pine woods and zero cell signal. No name, no address, just a pin dropped in the middle of green nothing. I was about to turn around when the app pinned with a new message. You're close. Keep going. You're expected. I hadn't sent anything. I hadn't even tried to message them. My stomach dropped. I should have left, but $150 felt like a reason to keep moving. It started to snow. Not a full blizzard. Just light flurries, enough to blur the trees and make the headlights feel useless. The road narrowed into something barely wider than my car. Trees leaned in close. Branches scraped the sides like fingers tracing the paint. I slowed to a crawl. My breath fogged the windshield, and for a while, the only sound was the crunch of tires over ice-packed mud. Then something darted across the road. I slammed the brakes. Hard in my throat. It was too fast to make out. Maybe a deer, maybe something else. But it was upright. Human height. Moving on 2 legs, I sat there, staring into the woods. Nothing. But I couldn't shake the feeling I wasn't alone anymore. Another mile in, my headlights hit something. A house. No, a cabin, small 1-story, half swallowed by trees. No lights. No car. Just a porch with 2 steps and a metal box sitting at the edge. That was it. My GPS chirped. You have arrived. No signal. No backup. Just me and a cabin that looked like it had grown out of the dirt. I killed the engine, grabbed the package, heavy, weirdly warm through the cardboard, and stepped out. Silence swallowed everything. No wind, no birds, no distant traffic. Just the snow drifting sideways and the faint crackle of frost under my boots. Walked up to the porch. There was a sign nailed to the door, painted in red. Do not knock, do not speak. I swallowed hard and set the package down beside the door. My fingers were numb already. Then the porch light flicked on. I hadn't touched anything. There was no sound. No switch click. Just sudden, sterile light pouring down over me. I stepped back slowly. Then I heard it. Footsteps. From inside the cabin, moving toward the door. I backed off the porch, breath hitching. The footsteps stopped, the light turned off, and then the door opened. No one was there. Just darkness. Like the inside of the cabin was swallowing light. I couldn't see more than a foot past the threshold. I turned and walked fast back to my car. I didn't run. I told myself I was being dramatic. Creeped out. Reading too much into it. I climbed in, started the engine, and turned the car around. But the road was gone. I swear to God, gone. The dirt path I'd driven up was just forest now. Thick trees and snow. No tire tracks. No gap in the trees. I got out and walked 10, maybe 15 yards in. Nothing, just woods. When I turned around, the cabin was gone too. I stood there, stunned. No road, no house, no lights, just trees, snow, darkness. I ran back to where I thought my car had been. Now it was barely visible, half shrouded in branches that hadn't been there seconds ago. I climbed in, locked the doors, and sat there, shaking. My phone was dead. It had been at 60% when I arrived. Now it wouldn't turn on at all. I was officially lost, or worse, not supposed to leave. After what felt like an hour, I saw movement in the trees. At first, just shadows, maybe branches swaying. But then, someone stepped out from between the pines. A woman. Pale, wearing a thin nightgown. No shoes, skin so white it almost glowed under the snow. She stared at the car. Didn't move. Didn't blink. I didn't move either. I held my breath. Then she smiled. Wide. Like her skin didn't know how to stretch that way. And she raised one hand and pointed behind me. I turned around in my seat, and the cabin was back. Lights on, door wide open. A figure standing in the doorway, tall, unmoving, featureless in the glow. I floored it. Didn't care about trees or the road, or what was real anymore. I drove through the forest, branches slamming into the windshield, tires spinning, engine howling. Something followed me. I couldn't see it, not directly, but every time I glanced in the mirror, I saw shapes just behind the car. Too many legs. Too many eyes. The road finally reappeared. About a mile later, just blinked back into existence like the forest had decided to let me go. I didn't stop until I reached the highway. Didn't breathe until I was under streetlights again, surrounded by passing cars and noise and normalcy. The app still says, "Delivery in progress." I never got paid. I've emailed them. No reply. And the drop-off pin? It's gone. Just vanished from the map. I've checked satellite view, Google Earth, everything. That road, that forest, doesn't exist, but I know. I went there. Because the snow on my car didn't melt for 2 days. Because I keep waking up with dirt under my nails and pine needles in my sheets. And last night, I looked out my window, and the woman in the nightgown was standing across the street. Smiling. Waiting. It's been 2 weeks since the delivery. I've moved apartments. I switched phones, deleted the app. I even tried to convince myself I hallucinated the whole thing. But last night, I woke up to find muddy footprints in my living room. Bare feet, small, human. They started at the front door, which was still locked, and led straight to my bedroom. Then stopped. Nothing else. Just a trail of filth and a cold, rotting smell that clung to the carpet for hours after. She was here. The woman from the woods. I didn't sleep after that. I just sat on the couch, lights on, knife in hand, waiting for sunrise like it meant something. But it didn't. Single quotes. Because when I opened my fridge this morning, there was a note tucked between the milk and the eggs, handwritten, no envelope, just folded once. All it said was, "You left something behind." I lasted maybe 3 hours before getting back in my car. No job, no plan, just this feeling in my chest like a live wire. This pressure like something was waiting for me to come back. Maybe I should have left it alone, but I couldn't. I couldn't sleep. I couldn't eat. I couldn't even look in mirrors without seeing something shift behind me. So I went back to the woods, to the place the GPS no longer recognized. I couldn't find it at first. The turnoff was gone, just like before. All trees, no road. But then I saw something nailed to a tree. A red ribbon. It looked fresh. And tied underneath, it was a plastic fork. Just a plain takeout fork. The kind you get with a delivery meal. I stopped the car, got out. And walked. The forest was wrong. Too quiet. Too still. Even when the wind picked up, the trees barely moved. The air felt heavy, like breathing through wet cloth. But I kept going, following the ribbons. Every so often, another tree would have something tacked to it. A delivery receipt, a glove, an old GPS tracker. All stuff a driver might have dropped or lost. They were breadcrumbs. And they were for me. Eventually, I found the cabin again. Or another one. It looked different. Smaller, half collapsed, but familiar. The door was open. Of course it was. Inside, the air smelled like wet earth and meat gone bad. There was no furniture. Just a wooden table with a mirror propped up on it. And on the mirror, written in something dark and sticky, was, "You brought it here. You have to take it back." I don't know what I expected. Answers, maybe closure. Instead, I got the kind of cold that bites through skin. The kind that makes your bones ache. Like something old is brushing up against you. I turned to leave, but the door had closed. I didn't hear it shut. It just wasn't open anymore. I rushed to it, but it wouldn't budge. No knob, no hinges. Just a flat, smooth surface where a way out should have been. Panic hit me like a wave. I turned back to the table. The mirror was glowing. Not bright. Just this faint shimmer. Like moonlight on oil. I stepped closer, and I saw myself. But not exactly. The reflection blinked slower than I did. Tilted its head the opposite way. Smiled when I didn't. Then it raised a hand and tapped the glass. I stumbled back, heart pounding. The mirror pulsed once, then cracked. The sound was sharp, like a screen trapped in glass. A line ran through the center of the mirror, splitting my reflection in half. The left side began to bleed, not metaphorically, actual blood. Thick, dark drops running down the glass. I turned around, ready to smash through the door, the wall, anything, but I wasn't in the cabin anymore. I was in a hallway, long, endless. Lit by a single, swinging bulb overhead that buzzed like an insect caught in a trap. Doors lined both sides. Every few feet, I turned behind me. The cabin was gone. No entrance. No exit. Just hallway. Just me. And the smell of something rotting. Growing stronger. I started walking. One door on my left had a number carved into it. 37. I tried the handle. Locked. The next one, 38. Also locked. The third one was different. It didn't have a number. It had my name, carved deep, jagged, fresh. I stared at it, hand trembling. Then from the other side of the door, I heard a whisper, not words, just sound, a shiver made of syllables. I opened it. Inside was my apartment. Every detail, same couch, same table, same coffee mug still stained with yesterday's coffee, but it was off, colors muted, shadows too long. And sitting on the couch, back facing me, was me, or something wearing my shape. It turned slowly, eyes hollow, mouth too wide, smile twitching. And it said, in my exact voice, "You brought it back, good." Then it stood up. I slammed the door shut and ran, didn't think, didn't breathe. Just sprinted down the hallway as the lights overhead flickered wildly. Behind me, I heard footsteps. Not fast, just steady. Like whoever, whatever, was following me had all the time in the world. I must vet past 100 doors. Some had names, some had numbers, some had nothing. One had bloody handprints smeared across it. One was vibrating like something inside was screaming with its This dot, but I didn't stop dot not until I reached the end. Just a wall, a blank wall dot, and in the middle of it, a mirror dot, the same mirror from the cabin. The cracks were worse now. The surface pulsed like a heartbeat behind the glass. My reflection was waiting dot. It didn't move until I touched the surface. Then it smiled and stepped backward. Suddenly, the mirror wasn't a mirror anymore. Dot, it was a doorway, a tunnel, a way out. I didn't hesitate. I stepped through. I woke up in my car dot, in a ditch. Off some back road dot. The package was gone dot. My phone was back in my pocket, powered off. Battery full. The GPS was lit up with the message, "Delivery complete. Thank you." I drove straight home. Didn't look in the rearview mirror once. That was 3 nights ago. I haven't left my apartment since. Because now, mirrors don't work for me anymore. Not really when I brush my teeth. The reflection doesn't move when I walk past a window. Sometimes I'm still standing in it dot, and sometimes I'm not alone. There's something else in there with me. A version of me dot. That thing I left in the woods that followed me back dot. It smiles now dot all the time dot. It watches me while I sleep dot, and every time I pass a mirror, it looks a little more real than I do. The weirdest thing is, I almost didn't accept the delivery dot. It was late. I was fried. The app had glitched twice already that night. And this one popped up with barely any details. Just a single package, no restaurant name. And the drop-off was at an apartment building downtown I'd never seen before. The payout was $40 for one delivery, too good to ignore. The building was called the Marin Tower, high-rise, kinda out of place. Tucked between a closed nail salon and an abandoned theater. There were no windows lit up dot, no security desk inside. Just a long, echoey lobby with polished tile floors and a broken elevator humming softly in the shaft. I should have walked out right there, the app said. Deliver to Unit 309. Do not leave at door. Handoff only. Fine. Whatever dot. I took the stairs dot. The building was dead silent. Like not quiet at night silent, but empty, still. The kind of stillness that makes your ears ring dot. Third floor hallway was carpeted. Beige, identical doors on both sides. I found 301, 303, 305, and stopped. There was number 309. I walked all the way to the end and back. Double-checked every door. Skip numbers, yes, 301 to 303 to 305, then 307. Then straight to 311 dot, no 309. I laughed under my breath. Kinda nervous. Went back down to the ground floor and called the customer. Through the app dot. Straight to voicemail. I messaged, "There's number 309. Are you sure that's the right unit?" 3 dots popped up immediately dot, then vanished dot. No reply dot. I went back up dot. Something about the hallway felt different this time, like it had stretched. Like it had too many doors. I walked it slower this time, counting. There were 13 doors on the left, 14 on the right. That wasn't right. There weren't that many before dot, and then I saw it. A door between 307 and 311.1 that hadn't been there the first time. Dark wood. Brass numbers dot. 309 dot. I stopped dot. My chest got tight. There was no peephole. No mat. No noise from inside dot. Just a door that didn't exist 10 minutes ago. Suddenly there. I stared at it for a long time. Then I knocked. I didn't expect anyone to answer dot, so when the lock clicked, my heart jumped. The door opened halfway dot. No one behind it. Just a dark apartment. I stood there, frozen, holding the bag. Delivery? Silence. I stepped back. The door creaked open a few inches more. The apartment beyond was pitch black. But I swear I saw movement. Like something crawling on the ceiling. Fast. I dropped the bag at the threshold and backed up. I'm just gonna leave it here, okay? Then the door slammed shut. Hard, like it had been yanked from the inside. All the lights in the hallway flickered once, then died. Total darkness. My phone flashlight wouldn't turn on. The screen wouldn't even light up. Just dead. I ran, tripped halfway down the stairs, scraped my elbow, didn't care. I flew out the front door into the street, like something was chasing me. Maybe something was. Back in the car, engine running, I finally got a signal. My phone buzzed. New message from customer. Thank you. You've been seen. Seen? I noped the hell out of there. Turned off the app. Swore I'd never deliver downtown again, but the next day, I got a notification anyway. No app open. No delivery active. Just a ping on my lock screen. 309. One more item needs returning. That's when I noticed the bag, still in my car, the one I dropped off. The one that vanished behind the door. It was in my back seat, sitting upright. Perfectly sealed, like it had never been opened at all. I didn't touch it. I drove it straight to a dumpster behind the gas station and chucked it in. Barely looking. That should have been the end of it. But 2 hours later, it was back on my porch. No note. No message. Same bag. Same warm, humming feeling when I picked it up, like it had a pulse. This time, I opened it. Inside was a mirror, small, handheld, old, but it wasn't my reflection in it. It was a hallway. That same beige hallway from the 3rd floor. Unit 309 right in the center. And in front of the door was me. Standing, frozen, holding this mirror. I haven't been back to the building. Not yet, but tonight, there's a knock at my door. Slow, deliberate, I live alone. 3rd floor. No one should be knocking this late. I checked the peephole. There's no one there, but when I look in the mirror, I see 309 again, and the door is open, and something inside is crawling toward the threshold. I didn't open the door. I just stood there in my apartment hallway, staring at the peephole like it might blink. The knocking stopped, but the silence that followed, it felt alive, thick, watching me. I should have called the cops. I should have left the building entirely. Instead, I made the dumbest choice possible. I checked the mirror again. I don't know why. Curiosity? Fear? Or maybe it wasn't even my choice. Maybe the thing inside that delivery bag wanted me to look. The mirror showed the same hallway from the night before. The beige walls. The dim overhead lights. And right in the middle, that black doorway of Unit 309. Open. Not fully, just that cracked open sliver. But enough to see inside. And something inside the darkness was moving. Something on the ceiling. Skittering in tight circles like it didn't quite know what shape it belonged in. I flinched and dropped the mirror. It hit my foot. Then the floor, but didn't break. Instead, the glass rippled like water. And my reflection didn't reappear. The mirror now showed the lobby of the Marin Tower. Waiting. Inviting. I didn't sleep. I sat on the couch until sunrise, staring at that mirror on the floor. Every time I looked away, it shifted scenes. Stairwell, hallway, lobby. Stairwell again, like someone was walking around the building with a camera. Only no one ever appeared on screen. Around 10 a.m. My phone buzzed. Unknown number. Return what is ours. I almost threw the phone. Instead, I typed back, what do you want? 3 dots. Then, Unit 309. Should have destroyed the mirror, but it didn't feel like something I could destroy. Every time I picked it up, it hummed in my hand, not loud, but a low, vibrating thrum, like a heartbeat through the glass. And the longer I held it, the more I felt something. Pulling, not physically, not like a hand grabbing me, but inside my head. A pressure, urging me. Whispering without words. I ended up in my car, without even remembering, deciding to go. The city passed by in a blur. I parked the same as last time. Same broken street lamp flickering overhead. Same boarded theater across the road. Only this time, the Marin Tower had lights on. A few windows lit randomly across the upper floors, glowing a sickly yellow like the lights were old and dying. The lobby doors were open. No breeze. Just open, inviting me back inside. The lobby looked different. Cleaner. Brighter. Too bright. Last time, it had been dark and empty. Now the overhead lights were buzzing, and the elevator, the one that was out of service, had its doors wide open. Like it had been waiting for me. I didn't take it. I ran for the stairwell on the 3rd floor. Everything looked exactly as I remembered. Beige carpet, dead air, identical doors. But the numbering was even worse now. Nothing made sense. Doors in the wrong places. Some slightly open. Some boarded from the inside. Some with strange sigils carved into the wood. And halfway down the hallway, there it was. 309. Except the door was slowly, quietly opening. All on its own. I didn't go near it yet. I raised the mirror instead. The glass rippled once, then showed the inside of Unit 309. It wasn't a normal apartment. It was a hallway. A long, endless hallway disappearing into pitch-black distance, filled with doors, one after another, stretching way farther than the dimensions of the building should allow. Something was in that hallway. Tall. Wrong. Moving slowly toward the entrance, toward me. I lowered the mirror and backed up until I hit the opposite wall. Okay, I whispered. Okay, think. Then the thing inside 309 spoke, not a voice, a whisper. Close. Right behind my ear. Come back. I spun so hard I slammed into the wall. My vision went white at the edges. The door to 309 was now fully open. The hallway inside the room looked exactly like the one in the mirror. Long, endless, impossible. And something tall and crooked was stepping out. I ran, not down the stairs, toward the elevator. I don't know why. Panic, instinct, the sense that no matter where I went, the layout of this place was going to change to trap me anyway. The elevator doors closed just as something slammed into the other side, hard enough to dent the metal. The lights flickered. The elevator didn't go down. It went up. Higher. Then the building had floors for. The numbers climbed. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 9, 9, 9. It got stuck. The elevator dinged softly. Doors sliding open. I stepped out into a hallway. Not the 3rd floor hallway. It was the hallway from the mirror. Long, endless. Doors lining both sides. Each one unlabeled. The air felt heavier, like breathing through wet leaves. And behind me, the elevator doors shut and disappeared, leaving only more hallway. I was inside Unit 309. I moved slowly, counting doors on each side. Maybe if I memorized the pattern, I'd find a way out. But the hallway changed behind me the moment I passed each door, swallowing the path I'd come from. Doors vanished. Corners shifted. Carpets faded, like the building was rebuilding itself around me. I heard breathing, not mine. Ahead, maybe 20 feet, one of the doors was cracked open. A thin strip of darkness cut across the floor. The breathing was coming from inside. Slow, wet, uneven. I stepped past it. The door creaked wider all on its own. I didn't look. I kept moving. Another door creaked. Then another. Soon every door in front of me was slowly opening, in sequence, like they smelled me. Like they were waiting. At the end of the hallway, something stood. Tall, thin, facing the wrong direction, staring into a door instead of toward me. Its limbs were too long, shoulders too narrow, skin too pale, stretched like wet paper, and it was listening, head tilted, like it heard me breathing. I pressed myself against the wall, trying not to make a sound. The mirror in my hand pulsed. Once. Twice. A heartbeat. The creature turned, not its head. Its whole body rotated like it had no bones. It stared at me. Eyes white, Empty. Hungry. The mirror in my hand grew warm. Then hot, like it wanted me to raise it. So I did. The glass rippled. My reflection appeared behind me. So did the creature. Closer. Closer. Then dash. My reflection grabbed my hand through the glass. Pulled. Hard. I fell backward into the mirror, onto concrete, into the real world. I hit the floor of the stairwell so hard the wind got knocked out of me. The door to the hallway above slammed shut. I scrambled up, chest heaving. I was back on the 3rd floor, but the door to 309 was gone again. Just a blank wall where it had been. I ran down the stairs, out the lobby, into the street. I didn't look back. I've been home for 3 days. I keep checking the mirror I fell through. It's still whole, but my reflection doesn't always move with me anymore. Sometimes it lags. Sometimes it blinks when I don't. Sometimes it stands closer to the background of the image. Like the depth is wrong. Like the mirror behind me is deeper than it should be. I haven't delivered anything since. But this morning, a package appeared outside my door. No label. No return address. Just a sticky note. For 309. I didn't bring it inside. I didn't touch it. But an hour ago, I heard it. From inside the box. Breathing. Slow. Wet. Uneven. And now the box is gone, but the breathing didn't leave with it. It's coming from the bathroom. From the mirror. And when I look into it, I see the hallway again, long, endless, and a door in the distance slowly opening, revealing something pale. Something tall, something waiting for me to come back. Something that knows my name. He got in at 1:13 a.m. That time's burned into my brain because I checked the clock 4 times in the first minute, just to be sure this wasn't some kind of glitch. Some error in the app. Because when I pulled up outside Terminal 3 at the airport, there was no request. No ping, no customer name or photo, nothing. Just a guy standing alone under the orange floodlights. No bags, no movement. Like he'd been waiting for me. I rolled the window down halfway. "You request a ride?" I asked. He nodded once. No smile, no words. Just opened the door and got in behind me. Back passenger seat. Not behind me. Behind the passenger seat. Which was weird. People always sit behind the driver unless they're drunk or trying to talk. He didn't talk. Didn't even ask where we were going. And the weirdest thing? My app lit up with a route after he got in. Like his destination auto-populated from nowhere. No address. Just a pin. We didn't speak for the first 10 minutes. The highway was empty, like it always is this late. Just the hum of tires, and that low buzz of anxiety that comes from driving someone who won't say a word. I glanced up at the rearview mirror. He was looking straight ahead. Not at me, not at the window. Just through the windshield, like he was watching the road over my shoulder. His face was forgettable. That's the only way I can describe it. Not ugly. Not handsome, just wrong in this subtle, blurry way. Like if you tried to draw him from memory, every detail would slide off your pencil. Still, I told myself not to be weird about it. Not to get paranoid. Late night rides are full of odd folks. Silence isn't a crime, but then we hit the off-ramp, the one that leads out toward the lake, and the GPS started glitching. The voice said. In 300 feet. Stay on your path. Not take a left, not merge. Not any real direction. Stay on your path. I glanced at my phone. The map was still showing the route, but the road we were on didn't match anymore. Like the lines had shifted. Like it was watching us drive and correcting itself in real time. I tried to stay cool. Casual. You headed to a house? Work? I asked over my shoulder. No answer. Just the soft sound of breathing. Stole another glance at the mirror. Still staring straight ahead. Still not blinking. Then Quietly, just loud enough for me to hear, he said, "You took this job because you thought it was safe, didn't you?" My skin went cold. I what? He didn't repeat it. Didn't say anything else. I gripped the wheel tighter. "I think you've got the wrong impression. Man, if you're messing with me, I can end the ride. But you won't." That time, he was looking at me, his face in the mirror, eyes completely black, not shadowed, not tired, black, like someone had scooped out the color and filled it with ink. I slammed the brakes, hard, the car fishtailed slightly on the shoulder gravel. We weren't near any houses, just woods on both sides and the lake barely visible through the trees. Turned around fast, the seat was empty, nothing in the back seat, the door was closed. The interior light didn't come on, no sound. No movement. No weight shift. Just gone, like he'd never been there. I sat there for maybe 5 full minutes, heart thudding like a jackhammer. Then the app buzzed. Drop off complete. $83.40 added to your account. I stared at it, waiting for it to vanish or change or glitch again, but it stayed. A perfectly normal completed ride. I didn't know what to do. So I drove home, slowly, watching the mirrors the whole way. The next morning, I checked the app again. The ride didn't exist in my trip history. No $83 in my balance, like it had been reversed. I contacted support. The guy on the phone told me my shift had ended at midnight. I told him that was wrong, that I'd picked up a passenger at 1:13 a.m. He paused, then said, "Sir, no one can request rides from the airport past midnight. That entire terminal shuts down." I hung up. I didn't tell anyone. How do you explain that? Hey, a man with ink black eyes disappeared from my back seat after whispering cryptic stuff about fate. No one wants to hear that. So I let it go until it happened again. 3 nights later, different pickup spot. Different time. But same thing. No ride alert. Just a man standing on the curb. Same height. Same build. Same forgettable face. I kept the doors locked this time. He didn't try to open them. Just stood there, staring. And when I looked in the mirror, in the reflection, he was already in the back seat. I slammed the gas, tore out of the lot, drove until the streetlights came back and my hands stopped shaking. That night, I found something under the passenger seat. A receipt from a gas station that's been closed since 2004. Printed on it was a single phrase: "Some passengers never get out." I've tried everything since: smudging, therapy, took a month off, but he always comes back, never the same way. Twice. Sometimes I'll glance at the rear view at a stoplight and he'll be there, just breathing. Sometimes I'll hear him behind me when I'm alone in the car. A sigh, a shuffle, the creak of leather. One night I even saw a second reflection in the side mirror, driving the car with me inside it. It's like he's attached to me now, like he's riding along in more than just the seat, like I picked something up that night I'll never be able to drop off. The worst part isn't that he keeps showing up. It's that I don't even flinch anymore. He's in the car almost every night now. No notification, no door click, just there, sitting quietly, watching the back of my head. Sometimes he talks. Sometimes he doesn single quotes d. Sometimes he just hums, low, tuneless, almost like a lullaby. And it gets stuck in my head for days, like it belongs there. I stopped driving customers a week ago. I still get in the car, out of habit, but I don't turn the app on. I just sit behind the wheel and stare at the mirrors, because it doesn't matter anymore. If I pick people up, he's already in the car. Last Thursday, he brought something new. I found it on the passenger seat. A phone, not mine. Not new. Old model. Cracked screen. Battery at 3%. When I turned it on, it opened straight to the photo gallery. One image. No caption. No filters. It was me, sitting in the driver's seat, only I was asleep, mouth open, eyes closed. And in the back seat, he was leaning forward, inches from my face. Smiling. Like he was whispering something to my sleeping self. I dropped the phone, almost drove it straight into the river. But when I looked back, the phone was gone, and the rear view showed the back seat empty. That tried everything. Sleeping with the lights on, burning sage, deleting the app, then reinstalling it, buying a new phone, even trading in the car. But that's when I learned the truth. It's not the phone. It's not the app. It's not the car. It's me. I brought him in. And now he's not just riding along, he's settling in. A few nights ago, I lost time. Really lost it. I got in the car around 10:30 p.m., planning to just drive loops around the block, maybe smoke, try to feel normal. The next thing I remember, it's 4:42 a.m. I'm parked outside a long abandoned gas station off Route 19. No idea how I got there. No memory of the hours in between, but my hands were on the wheel, the engine was running, and the odometer showed I'd driven exactly 113.0 miles. Same time he first got in, 113. Checked the passenger seat. There was a key sitting there. Old, rusted, like it belonged to a locker or a motel room from the 70s. Attached to it was a tag. "You're ready now." I knew where it went. I don't know how I knew. I just did. There's a motel off that stretch of Route 19, barely standing. Yellow paint peeling off in strips. Neon sign missing letters. Oasis Motor Lodge. I hadn't been there in years. Not since I was 8. Not since the night my dad left. But my hand started driving before my brain said yes. Room 5. The key fit perfectly. The door creaked open like it had been waiting for me. Inside was dark, dusty, like no one had touched it in decades. But on the bed, there was a man, not moving, just sitting there, hands folded in his lap. And when he looked up, it was my father, not a ghost, not an illusion, just him. Exactly as I remembered, older but unmistakable, and sitting across from him was me. A version of me. Peler, tired, wearing the same clothes I had on 2 nights ago. Eyes darker, too wide. Both of them looked at me at the same time. My throat closed. "I don't understand," I whispered. The pale version of me stood up. "You picked him up," he said. "You let him in." We all do, eventually. Let who in? But I already knew, the passenger. He wasn't just some ghost. Not some demon or monster. He was a memory. A regret. A version of something you carry with you, hoping it never speaks. The pale version of me walked forward, slow, like approaching a wounded animal. "You think he was some random hitchhiker?" he said softly. "No, he was always yours. You just didn't recognize him until you saw his face in the mirror." Behind him, my father stayed perfectly still, not blinking, not breathing. "Why him?" I asked. "Why bring me back here?" He smiled, but it wasn't cruel. It was tired, because this is where it started. The first time you sat in the backseat of your mom's car and watched your father leave. The first time you stayed silent and pretended you were okay. I was shaking. The memory hit me so hard, I nearly fell over that night. The motel. The fight. The car door slamming. Me staring into the rearview mirror, hoping he'd turn around. He didn't. I looked back at the man on the bed. He was gone. No imprint. No warmth. Just empty space, like he'd never been there. The pale version of me was still standing there, but his reflection wasn't mine anymore. It was the passenger. Same suit. Same black eyes. "You're not real," I said, trying to breathe. "You're just some trauma, some guilt. Real enough to follow you," he said. "Real enough to drive you." I took a step back. "I'm not going back with you." He didn't blink. You already did. When I got back to my car, the back door was open. No sound. No breeze. Just the same receipt from before sitting on the back seat. But this time, the message had changed. Thank you for carrying him this far. We'll take it from here. Underneath it, written in tiny type, passenger no, 1 of 1. I don't remember driving home, but when I woke up, the car was gone. Keys on the nightstand. App deleted. No memory of uninstalling it. Just one notification left on my phone. Your shift is over. Rest now. I haven't seen him since. Not in the back seat, not in the mirror, not even in dreams. But every now and then, I still check. Late at night. Driving empty streets. No music, no distractions. And sometimes, I think I see something in the reflections. A shape, a movement. The faintest sound of breathing behind my ear. And when I glance at the rear view, it's just me. But sometimes, I'm not blinking. I should have canceled the order the second I read the delivery instructions. Please don't knock. Just leave it on the porch. Don't look through the windows. I'd seen weird notes before. People asking to leave food in flower pots on the roof of their car. Even one guy who had a baby goat in the yard and warned, don't pet her. She bites. But this one felt different. It wasn't the words. It was the feeling behind them. Like whoever wrote them wasn't being quirky. They were being serious. Scared, even. And yeah, I should have just skipped it. But it was a $25 payout for a 5-minute drive. One of those random late-night orders from some big mansion up on the hill. So I took it. The neighborhood was one of those old money places with long driveways and no streetlights. The kind of homes where the front door is the size of your entire apartment, and the windows are black after 9 p.m., even though you know someone's inside. I pulled up just after 11:30. The house was big. Too big. Pillars dark brick, vines growing up the sides. Looked like something out of a horror movie. The porch light was on, but barely dim yellow, flickering every few seconds like it couldn't decide if it wanted to stay alive. I grabbed the food, walked up the steps, and placed the bag on the doormat as requested. Then I hesitated. Because the windows, the ones flanking the front door, had sheer curtains, and behind the left one, I swear I saw someone standing there. Didn't mean to look, seriously. I was just turning to go when my eyes flipped to the window, and there, a figure, standing completely still, not touching the curtain, not reacting to me at all, just watching. I froze for maybe a second too long. Long enough for the figure to tilt their head. Not a normal tilt. Not curious or shy. It was stiff, robotic, like a dog trying to understand a noise it shouldn't be able to hear. I turned away fast, back down the steps. Not running, not walking, just fast enough to make it to the car and get inside before doing anything stupid. But then I looked at the app. The order still hadn't marked as complete. I needed to take a photo of the bag. I groaned, unbuckled, got out, lifted my phone, snapped a picture. Flash on by accident. The whole porch lit up. The figure behind the window was right there, inches from the glass. I nearly dropped my phone. The flash burned the image into my brain. A woman. Pale skin, no expression. Eyes wide, mouth closed too tight, and her hands pressed against the glass, but her palms were on the inside of the curtains, like the curtains weren't between her and the window. Like she wasn't behind the window, like she was in it. I jumped back so fast. I tripped on the bottom step and landed hard on my elbow. The porch light flickered again and went out completely. I scrambled into the car, locked the doors, and peeled out of the driveway like I was being chased because, for a second, I thought I was in the rear view. Just as I was turning onto the main road, I saw something move across the porch. Fast. Low to the ground. Too fast to be a person. I got home. Sat in the car for 10 minutes with the engine running and all the doors locked. Trying to calm down. Tried to tell myself it was just a creepy customer. Weird lighting. Trick of the curtain. That kind of thing. But when I finally went inside and opened the app to check the delivery, the photo I took wasn't there. In its place was a different picture. A close-up of a face, mouth wide open, eyes solid white, not screaming, smiling. And behind the face, through the glass, was me. Standing on the porch. Phone raised, taking the photo. I didn't sleep that night. I didn't work the next day either, but the night after that, I got another order. Same payout, same neighborhood, same house. And this time, the note was different. Thank you for not knocking. She gets excited when people notice her. There was no name on the account. No contact number. Just the same dim porch light blinking in the delivery. Preview photo. I didn't accept it, but I couldn't stop staring at it. Because now the porch light wasn't flickering. It was glowing bright red. And there was a new line at the bottom of the instructions. Just 4 words. Don't forget to smile. I lasted 3 nights. 3 nights of not sleeping. 3 nights of staring at the ceiling and wondering what would have happened if I'd knocked. 3 nights of checking the app every hour, waiting to see if they would come back. And on the 4th night, they did. Same house. Same payout. But the note had changed again. She's been looking for you. Don't knock. Just come inside. The map preview didn't show the usual bird's eye view. It was a close-up photo from the front door camera. I was in it. Standing on the porch. Head tilted. Eyes blacked out. Smiling. I told myself I wasn't going. That this wasn't my problem anymore. But around 11 p.m., I was sitting in my car, parked outside the same mansion again. I don't remember getting there. The porch light was on again. Still red. Not blinking. Just glowing like a wound. I sat there, hand on the ignition, watching the light pulse slowly, like it was breathing. Then I blinked, and the food bag was gone from my passenger seat. I hadn't touched it. I swear, 1 second it was there. The next, nothing. I looked toward the house. The front door was cracked open, wide enough to see a sliver of light. Inside, and someone was standing behind the glass again. Not moving, just watching. I should have driven away, but my feet moved first. The porch creaked under my shoes. I didn't knock. I didn't speak. I just stepped inside. The air was cold, stale, like the heat had been off for years. Everything inside looked frozen in time. Old wallpaper, dusty floorboards, furniture with sheets draped over it, except the hallway. At the end of the hall, one light was on, warm, flickering slightly. I followed it. Each step felt wrong, like I was walking on something soft that just looked like wood. The floor almost pulsed. At the end of the hallway was a room with no door. Inside was a mirror, huge, tall enough to reach the ceiling, framed in old black wood, carved with symbols I couldn't recognize. The mirror wasn't reflecting the room. It was reflecting me, but in a different room. In a different house. I was standing on a porch again, in the reflection, holding a bag of food. And behind me, through the curtain, was her. The woman, with no expression. 2 wide eyes, palms on the wrong side of the glass, except this time. She stepped through the curtain. I stumbled back, heart slamming against my ribs. The mirror didn't crack or shimmer. It just changed. Now I was in the reflection, watching someone else. Another driver, younger than me. Same uniform, same app open on his phone. And he was on this same porch, but he looked confused. He set the food down, took the photo. Flash. And when the porch lit up, I saw her behind him. Smiling. Then lunging. The reflection went dark. Behind me, the hallway light flickered once. And then I heard the footsteps fast coming from the front door. Not stopping, not heavy, more like skittering. Too fast for how far away it sounded. I bolted into the hallway. But the hallway had changed. Now it had doors, too many. Lined up like a hotel. Everyone closed, except the last one. Slightly open. The only light behind it was red, same color as the porch light, same slow. Pulsing glow. I pushed through the door. The room inside was empty, except for a chair, facing the corner. Someone was sitting in. It still back to me, their head tilted. Slightly to the side, I stepped closer. "Hello?" I asked, barely able to speak. The figure didn't move. But I did closer. And as I walked around the chair, I saw my own face, mouth open. Eyes completely black. Smiling. I woke up in my car. No memory of leaving the house. It was parked outside my apartment. Engine off. Doors locked. The food bag was back in the passenger seat. But this time, it was empty. And inside the bag was a note. Same handwriting. Same red ink. "Thank you for letting her in. She likes you." Underneath the note was a photo. Me. Standing on the porch. Eyes blacked out. Same smile. But this time, she was behind me. Hands on my shoulders. That was 5 days ago. I haven't delivered anything since. Haven't left the house. Haven't even opened my blinds. But the porch light across the street? It started flickering. Same red hue. Same slow, breathing rhythm. And last night, I saw her standing there, not outside. In the window across from mine. She was inside my neighbor's house. But when I called him, panicked, rambling, he just laughed. "Man, I was gonna ask you," he said. "Who's that girl staying with you lately? She's been looking through your window all night." Final line, tonight. I finally worked up the nerve to check my front door camera. The footage from 11:33 p.m. shows me dropping off the food, but I never left. I'm still standing on the porch. Head tilted. Eyes blacked out, smiling. It started with a voice on the CB. I'd been on the road for about 9 hours, late night haul, hauling empty pallets down I-40, just west of Amarillo. No traffic, no cops. Just the kind of stretch where the dark feels heavier the longer you sit in it. Most truckers don't use CB radios much anymore. But I keep mine on, out of habit, out of comfort, sometimes. Hearing another driver's voice, even crackled and distant, keeps you from feeling like you're the last human alive on the road. But that night, I wish I'd kept it off, because at 2:17 a.m., through the static and low hum, I heard a voice say, "Can you hear me now?" Not a channel check, not a call out, just that calm, cold, like it was waiting for someone specific. I keyed up and said the usual, "Breaker, breaker, who's out there?" Silence. Then, after maybe 10 seconds, "Do you hear that too?" The voice was male, middle-aged, but flat, almost robotic. And behind it, if you really listened, you could hear something else. Tapping, rhythmic, measured, almost like Morse code. Then the voice said, something I'll never forget. "I can see your lights." I turned off the CB, didn't even respond. Just flicked it off and stared at the dark highway ahead, pretending I hadn't heard anything weird. But then, the tapping started again. Inside my cab, somewhere behind me, like someone was tapping the back of the sleeper. Wall, 1-2, 1-2, perfectly spaced. I pulled over fast, full white-knuckle brake stomp, and threw the hazards on, grabbed the flashlight, jumped out, and circled the truck. Nothing. Doors sealed. No one behind the trailer. I opened the sleeper. Empty. But the air inside felt wrong. Thick. Stale. Like someone had been breathing in there a long time. And just as I stepped away, the CB, still off, crackled to life. You're not alone. Nathan, I hadn't told anyone my name. I keep that radio channel locked. I don't broadcast my handle, and I don't run with convoys anymore. I shut everything down. No more CB, no music. Just the hum of the engine and the occasional flick of headlights from the opposite side of the highway. I kept driving. No more tapping, but I couldn't stop checking the mirrors, because every time I looked, I saw something almost human crouched by the back wall of the sleeper. Never there when I turned around. Always there in the reflection. Around mile marker 227. I heard a new voice, female, younger. Soft. Nathan? Are you hearing that too? The same sentence. Same rhythm, only now it was coming through the speakers of the truck itself, not the CB. The speakers were off. I almost crashed, swerved onto the shoulder, slammed to a stop. And this time I saw a in the side mirror, just for a second. I caught a glimpse of something crawling out from under the truck. Too many limbs. Wrong shape, like a man who'd forgotten how to be a man. But by the time I looked directly, it was gone. I sat there with the hazards on for 20 minutes. My hands were shaking so bad I could barely light a cigarette. That's when another truck pulled in behind me. Big rig. Same make as mine. Just a little older. Guy stepped out. Gray hoodie. Ball cap. About my age. Maybe 50. He walked up slow, lit cigarette already in hand. You all right? He asked. I nodded. Yeah, just tired. Maybe losing it. He stared at me for a beat. You hear it too? My blood ran cold. We sat in his cab for a while. Engine running. Radio off. He introduced himself as Gary. Been driving since the 90s. Had that weary, beat down vibe of a guy who's seen some real weird out here and never got the answers he needed. He poured me some gas station coffee from a thermos and said, started for me last winter. Same stretch of road. Voices over the CB, tapping, then the dreams. I stiffened. Dreams? He nodded slowly. You're in the truck. Everything's dark. But when you look in the mirror, you're not the one driving. Silence. Then he added, you ever notice how your odometer resets after a blackout? I didn't answer, because I had noticed that twice now. I'd lost 30-40 miles off the logbook. Thought it was a glitch. Thought I was losing time. Gary looked at me with this dead, tired stare. You ever stop to think maybe these roads don't go anywhere anymore? We rode together for another hour, separate trucks, following each other with steady distance. I kept my eyes locked on his taillights like they were the only thing keeping me real. But around mile 261, I lost him. Not like he turned off. 1 second he was there. Next second, gone. No exit. No lights. No brake taps. Just vanished. I pulled over and tried the CB again. Nothing. No signal. No static. Just silence. Then from the sleeper behind me, I heard the female voice again. Closer now. We're all still out here, Nathan. Just like you. But we're not driving anymore. We're riding, and we're hungry. I turned around. Flashlight in hand, ready to swing. The sleeper was empty, but scrawled on the wall, in something black and smeared, were the words, "Do you hear that too?" I didn't move for over an hour, just sat there in my truck with the flashlight clutched in my lap, staring at those words smeared across the wall of the sleeper. Do you hear that too? The ink, or whatever it was, had soaked into the wallpaper. It looked fresh. I kept waiting for it to drip, but it didn't, and I knew, deep in my chest, that Gary hadn't just vanished, he'd been taken, or worse, absorbed by whatever's out here on this stretch of road, hiding in static and reflections, and the dark space just behind your shoulder. Tried to turn the truck around, did a full loop at the next median, pointed myself back toward town, but something was off. The road felt longer, like it was pulling me in, and even after 45 minutes of driving in the opposite direction, the mile marker still said 261. The CB came alive again around 3:42 a.m., but it wasn't the same voice. This one was younger, sharper. Anyone out there? Breaker 19. Anyone on this channel? I nearly cried. I grabbed the mic and hit the switch. Yeah, I'm here. Where are you? The guy on the other end sounded relieved. Jesus, I thought I was losing it. You seeing the markers too? I blinked. What do you mean? He said, I've passed 261 4 times. Like I'm stuck in a loop. And my GPS is... He stopped. There was static. Then he said, quieter. It's tapping again. My breath caught. Do not stop the truck, I said. He didn't reply. Just silence. Then tapping. Through the radio. Fast. Closer. Then the voice came back. Only now it wasn't the same guy. You hear it too, Nathan? I threw the mic. Full panic. I was losing time again. The digital clock on my dash blinked. 2:14. 3:18. 2:37. 4 o'clock. The fuel gauge reset. The radio turned itself on and played a song I hadn't heard in 20 years, something my dad used to play when he was still alive. Then it cut out mid-dash verse at tapping. Again. This time from inside the passenger seat. I turned and there it was. Not a person. Not even a thing. Just a fold in space. Ripple in the shape of a man. Black eyes. Bent arms. Skin pulled tight over nothing. And a mouth that didn't move when it spoke. We were all drivers once. You keep the wheel too long. It keeps you. I blinked, and it was gone. That was the moment. I decided to find the end of it. No more running. No more turning back. I kept driving. Didn't stop for gas. Didn't blink. Didn't breathe unless I had the dot. And finally, around mile marker 0, I saw it. A way station. Dead. Half dash collapsed. Rusted out. Lights flickering, like it hadn't been in use for years. But the sign out front was glowing. Red neon. It read, last check-in. I pulled in, rolled to a stop. The whole truck groaned like it didn't want to be here. Inside the building, dust hung in the air like smoke. Old papers. Dead monitors. An overturned chair, but on the wall behind the counter. Photos. Driver photos, hundreds of them. Pinned, taped, stapled in uneven rows. I scanned the faces, and my stomach dropped. Gary was there. So was the young guy from the radio, and so was me. Different hat, different shirt, but definitely me. With a date scrawled underneath. 2 nights from. Now I stumbled backward, nearly tripped over a box on the floor. Inside were dozens of old CB radios, burned, melted, like they'd short-circuited. From the inside. Next to them, a recorder, cassette style, battery-powered, still running. I picked it up and hit play. Static. Then a voice. Mile 227. It started there. They get in your truck. Sometimes they're quiet. Sometimes they sound like people you knew. But once they speak your name, you're marked. Do not answer when they say your name. Don't look in the mirrors. Don't stop when it starts tapping. And if you're still hearing this, then you're almost out of time. I ran. Got back in the truck. Turned the CB off permanently. Ripped the rear view mirror off the windshield and threw it into the ditch. Covered every reflective surface I could find. Then I drove. No music. No lights. Just the road, somewhere near dawn. I crossed a line, not a visible one. Just a feeling. The pressure in my chest released. The air got lighter. The clock stopped. Glitching. And the mile markers started counting normally again. I don't remember falling asleep, but I woke up parked behind a diner. Engine off. Sun rising, and the mirror was back, sitting in the passenger seat. Clean. Untouched. But in the reflection, I was still asleep, and someone else was behind the wheel. That was a month ago. I left trucking after that. Moved in with my sister 2 states over. Started working at a tire shop. Day shifts only. I haven't touched a CB radio since, but sometimes, on nights when the power flickers, I hear tapping on the windows. And last week, I checked the logbook on a long-haul rig we were rotating through the shop. The odometer was exactly 227 miles short. And under the driver's name, it just said, "We hear it too." The first time I saw her, I thought she needed help. It was raining, not a storm. Just that gross, misty kind of rain that makes your windshield fog up no matter how high the defrost is blasting. I was halfway through my shift delivering for a grocery app, driving through one of those half-finished subdivisions on the edge of the city. Cheap houses, no sidewalks, potholes pretending to be driveways. She was standing on the side of the road. No umbrella, no bag, just a yellow hoodie soaked all the way through, hair plastered to her cheeks. She looked maybe 16, 17 at most, skinny, bare legs in the rain like it didn't bother her. I slowed down, not to be creepy, just because she looked off, not crying, not panicking, just staring. I rolled the window down halfway. "You okay?" She didn't answer, didn't move, just looked at me. And then she smiled, not big, not scary, just this soft, barely there smile like she recognized me. I waited. She didn't say a word. Eventually, I drove off. That night I told myself I imagined her, or maybe she was high. Maybe she wasn't real at all. But 2 nights later, I saw her again. Different neighborhood this time. 10 miles away. Late night delivery to an apartment complex behind a strip mall. There she was. Same hoodie, same soaked hair, same empty expression. Just standing under a busted street lamp, one hand hanging by her side like a dead branch. She looked at me as I drove past, and smiled again. The third time, I didn't even question it. It was her. Same girl, same clothes, same smile that made my skin crawl. Not because it was evil, but because it felt misplaced. Like she wasn't smiling at me, like she was smiling through me. I stopped the car, rolled the window down. "Hey, do you need help?" She tilted her head slightly, blinked slow, and whispered something I couldn't hear. I got out of the car, walked a few steps closer. "Are you lost?" She raised her arm and pointed, not at me, but down the road, behind me. I turned. Nothing was there. When I looked back, she was gone. After that, she started appearing more often. Different spots, different routes. Always at night. Always standing still. She never moved toward me. Never tried to speak again. Just stared, smiled, disappeared. One time she was standing in the middle of a 4-way stop. Just standing there in the yellow circle of the streetlight. When I drove around her, she didn't flinch. Another time, I caught her reflection in a storefront window before I saw her outside. But when I turned to look, she wasn't there. Just empty sidewalk. I started keeping a notebook, wrote down the times, locations, routes, trying to track some kind of pattern. I wanted to believe I was hallucinating, that I was losing it from too many shifts, too much caffeine, not enough sleep. But the notebook said otherwise. She always appeared within 3 miles of where I was 10 minutes before. Like she was following my route, chasing it, catching up. And then last Friday, it changed. It was my last drop of the night. Grocery bag for a house on the east side. I walked up, left the bag on the porch, snapped the photo. Then I felt it. A pressure. Like someone was standing too close behind me. I turned around, and she was there, right there. 3 feet away. Soaking wet. Hair dripping onto the porch. Hoodie sagging under the weight of the rain. No shoes. I stumbled backward. She looked straight at me and said, "Clear as day, you forgot me." I didn't sleep that night. Didn't work the next day. every time I blinked. I saw her face, blank, familiar, wrong, and that line played over and over in my head like a song I couldn't shut off. You forgot me. Here's where it gets worse. I started dreaming about her in the dream. I'm driving. Same job. Same car. She's in the passenger seat, soaked, silent, head turned toward me like she's been watching me for hours. She never speaks in the dream. She just waits. And when I try to pull over, the brakes don't work. When I try to look away from her, the mirror shows her sitting behind me. Every time I wake up, the seatbelt in the passenger seat is buckled. I sleep alone. Part 2. I didn't go back to work for a week. Didn't drive anywhere either. I walked to the store, slept on the couch, kept the blinds closed because every time a car's headlights swept across them, I thought I'd see her standing outside. I kept hearing her voice in my head. You forgot me. The way she said it wasn't angry. It wasn't sad. It was disappointed. Like she'd expected something from me. Like I'd failed her on the 7th night. I woke up to the sound of rain. Hard rain, hammering the windows. And something else. A tapping. Light, consistent. At first, I thought it was a tree branch. Then hail. Then I realized it was tapping on the glass of my front door. I froze on the couch. Didn't move. Didn't breathe. The tapping stopped. Then came a soft, muffled voice. Let me in. I couldn't help it. I stood up, walked to the entryway as quietly as I could. The porch light was on, and through the frosted window pane of the door, I saw the outline of a HOODIE. Yellow. Soaking wet. I stepped back, then back again. My phone buzzed in my pocket, making me jump. A notification from the delivery app. New message. It's your fault. I dropped my phone like it burned me. When I looked back at the window, there were now 2 silhouettes. One small, one taller. The taller one leaned close to the glass and whispered, "You left her." I don't remember unlocking the door, but somehow I was outside, rain drenching me instantly. The porch empty. No girls. No silhouettes. No yellow HOODIE. But on the wet cement, smeared with dirt and rainwater, was a drawing. A stick figure girl. A hoodie colored yellow. And next to her, a crude drawing of me. And below it, shaky letters. You forgot. My stomach twisted. Something was wrong. Not with her, with me. Something I'd buried so deep I didn't even recognize the shape of it. That same night, I had the worst dream yet. She wasn't in the passenger seat. This time. She was in the road. Standing directly in front of my car. I slammed the brakes, but the car kept rolling like the pedal wasn't connected to anything. I screamed at her to move. She didn't. She just whispered. This is where it happened. And the headlights flickered, and suddenly I wasn't in the dream anymore. I was remembering. 10 years ago, I was 17. Learning to drive. Summer storm. Same kind of rain hammering the windshield into a blur. I'd been arguing with my mom in the passenger seat. Something stupid. A curfew. A bad grade. I don't even remember. But I remember the yellow HOODIE. My little sister's favorite one. Bright. Neon. Too big for her. Sleeves hanging off her wrists. She was standing on the side of the road, waving at us. She'd snuck out during the storm. She wanted to walk home with me. She trusted me, but I was distracted, angry, not paying attention. I never saw the other car. One coming too fast in the opposite lane. The one I swerved away from. The one that hit the puddle. The one that hydroplaned straight into. I woke up screaming. I didn't want to remember. I'd buried it for years. My family never talked about it again. Therapists said I'd repressed it. I convinced myself my sister died in a hospital bed, but that wasn't true. She died before the ambulance ever arrived. On the roadside. In the rain. In her yellow hoodie. And I was the one who told her to go. Wait over there, where it was safer. Where the car hit. Where I left her. Where I forgot. The next night. I couldn't stay in the house anymore. I grabbed my keys and drove without thinking, letting instinct guide me. The storm was back. Same kind of rain. Same stretch of highway. I pulled over where the memory had happened, where she'd been standing. My hazard lights blinked in the dark. I got out of the car, rain soaked through my clothes in seconds. And then I saw her standing exactly where she'd been that day. Yellow hoodie, dripping, hair plastered to her cheeks, bare feet on the wet asphalt. And she looked at me with that soft, familiar smile, the one I hadn't seen in 10 years. I remember, I said, my voice shaking. She blinked. I'm sorry, I whispered. I'm so fucking sorry. She tilted her head, same subtle childlike motion she used to do when she didn't understand a joke. Then she stepped toward me, for the first time since she started appearing. She moved. Her bare feet made no sound on the wet pavement. The closer she got, the colder the air became. When she stood directly in front of me, she reached out. Her hand was shaking. Not violently, not angrily. Like she was scared I'd pull away. I didn't. She put her hand on my chest. Cold. So cold, I felt it through my shirt, straight to the bone. And she whispered, "Don't leave me again." The headlights behind us flickered. For a split second, I thought it was another car, but when I turned, there were dozens of silhouettes on the road. Children, teens, adults, all soaked, all in the same dull, washed-out hues of rain-soaked clothes, all staring at me. All with eyes full of something hollow. Something hungry. And at the front of them, a woman. Older. Paler. Her hoodie was yellow too, but not bright, not neon faded, bleached by time, stained with mud. Her smile was wider. Wrong. Inhuman. She spoke in a voice layered with echoes. You finally remembered. Now you belong with us. I stepped back. My sister didn't move. Her eyes didn't change. Still gentle, still sad, but the thing behind her, the older woman, stepped forward, hands too long, face too smooth. Something wearing grief like a costume. Every forgotten one must return, she said. Every memory feeds us. I tried to run, but the pavement under my feet turned soft. Like mud, like skin. Hands shot up, dozens, grabbing my ankles, knees, belt loops. Pulling. I screamed. My sister watched silently, rain pouring down her face, like tears she couldn't shed anymore. She whispered, "It's okay, you're with me now." And then, something cold wrapped around my waist and yanked me downward. This was supposed to be my last delivery of the night. It was nearly 3 a.m., and the order came through the courier app like any other. A rush package pickup from a warehouse in the far industrial zone. $85 payout. No tip. No details. Just the address and a note. Enter through the side gate. Someone will meet you. I hesitated. That area? It's always empty after dark. Rows of dead factories, rusted fences, streetlights that flicker like they're trying to say something in Morse code. But I was behind on rent. $85 meant food for the week. So I accepted. The warehouse was deeper into the district than I'd expected. The GPS cut out about 3 blocks before I got there, but I recognized the name from the job listing, Tanner Distribution Center. When I pulled up, the front lot was deserted. But the side gate? Already open. No guard, no cameras. Just a narrow chain-link gate swaying in the breeze like someone had walked through it minutes ago. I drove in slowly, high beams catching row after row of old delivery vans, the kind you don't see on the road anymore. Boxy, off-brand, most of them coated in dust. I parked near the loading dock. Waited. Nobody came out. But the warehouse lights flickered on inside. Not all at once, one by one. Like they knew I was here. I got out of the car and walked to the dock. The metal roll-up door was half open. Inside, it looked abandoned. Stacks of empty crates. Shrink wrap hanging from broken shelves. No signs of life or light, except the single overhead fixture humming above a folding table. On the table was a box. Medium size. Unmarked. Taped shut. And next to it, a clipboard. Just one line on the page. Driver, T. Reeves, 3:07 a.m., cleared for Route 6. Thing is, my name isn't T. Reeves. It's marked. I looked around. Still alone. I should have left right then. But something about the way the box sat there, waiting, made it feel like leaving was against the rules. So I took it. Back in the car, I entered the drop-off address into my Maps app. Nothing. No match. No route, no pin. I tried searching just the street name, still nothing. Then my phone buzzed with a new message. No number, no app. Just a plain text bubble. Proceed to Route 6. That's it. No directions. No return address. Just a cold, static message like it had always been there. I drove. At first, I figured I'd retrace my path and head back toward the highway. But every turn I took somehow led me deeper into the industrial maze. More warehouses, more fences, more abandoned vans lining the curves like graves. At some point, the road signs disappeared. Then the streetlights. Then the painted lines. It was just me, my headlights, and fog thick enough to feel like smoke. That's when I noticed something else. The other vans, the ones parked along the road, some of them were still running. No drivers. No lights. Just the quiet thrum of engines left on too long. I passed one, the engine idling, wipers frozen mid-swipe. Inside, the dashboard clock read 3:07 a.m. I passed another. Same time. Another. All of them said 3:07. I checked my own dash. 3:06. 3:07. 3:07. Then it froze, wouldn't change. Like the clock had decided time was done moving forward. Then I saw it. The same warehouse I picked the package up from. Same faded lettering, same cracked windows, same side gate swinging in the wind. I'd circled back, but I never turned. I never retraced my steps. The road had just brought me back. I stopped the car in the lot, killed the engine. Then something occurred to me, something that nearly made me throw up. The delivery van I parked next to? It was mine. Same dent in the bumper, same sticker on the rear window. And inside, behind the fogged windshield, was a box. Sitting in the passenger seat. Unopened. I opened my trunk. The box I picked up was still there. Same box. Two of them. Identical. But I never delivered either, which meant I'd been here before. And forgotten. I climbed back into the car, pulled out, started driving again. Anywhere. But the roads stopped making sense. Turns led back into themselves. Signs pointed in opposite directions. Every building looked almost like the last. Not the same, but cloned, with tiny differences, like a maze, made by something that didn't fully understand the world it was copying. And the vans? Now they were parked closer, some with doors open. Lights on, radios crackling. I passed one with the windshield smashed in, and a black handprint smeared across the inside of the glass. And then, I saw someone standing in the road. Not blocking me, not moving, just a silhouette under the orange haze of one working light. I slowed. Window cracked. "Hey!" I called out. "You okay?" No answer. Then they raised a hand and pointed to my trunk. I didn't get out. I couldn't. I was shaking too hard. They took a step forward, smooth, wrong, like their joints didn't know how to bend, and I realized they weren't standing, they were floating, just inches off the ground. Arms too long, hood pulled too low. No face. I could see, just the sense that something underneath was grinning wider than it should be. I hit reverse and gunned it until the figure disappeared into the fog. When I finally stopped, I was in front of the warehouse again. Same one. Same gate. Same van in the lot. And this time, the box in the passenger seat was open. Inside it, a clipboard. And the top line read, "Driver, M. Jenner, 3:07 a.m. in transit." That's my name. That's me. Part 2, I didn't want to go back inside, but I knew I couldn't stay out here either. The warehouse, my warehouse now apparently, was the only thing still standing still while the rest of the world kept folding in on itself. The clipboard in the passenger seat had my name, the timestamp, still read 30. Everything was stuck, like the road was a needle, skipping the same track over and over, and I was the one caught in it. I stepped back inside the warehouse. This time, the lights didn't flicker on by themselves. The place was darker than before, colder too. Not cold like it's winter, cold like the kind that wraps around your spine and breathes down your neck. There was still a table, still a box. Only now, there were more, dozens of them, all stacked neatly in rows. Every box had a name, all different, all handwritten. Some had dust, some looked soaked, some were half open, whatever was inside them long gone. I found mine near the far wall, marked M. Jenner. Next to it was a mirror, old, dirty, nailed into the wall. I looked, and in the reflection, I saw a man behind me. Not moving, not breathing, just staring. Same uniform as mine. Same face. I turned around. No one there. But when I looked back at the mirror, he was closer. I backed out of the warehouse fast, got in the car, started the engine. And this time, the clock said 3:08. For the first time all night, the numbers changed. I drove. Blind, desperate, no plan, but the world had changed again. The roads weren't industrial anymore. They were empty, dirt, no buildings. No light except for my own headlights bouncing against pale trees and warped signage. Every so often, I'd pass another van, same kind, same engine hum, just sitting there. Some had their lights on, some had people in them, slumped over, faces pressed to the glass. One of them looked exactly like me. I tried the radio, dead air, tried the phone. No signal, tried turning back again, but this time, the road behind me had vanished, replaced by a wall of fog so thick it felt alive. And the road ahead? It just kept going. Then a new sign appeared, painted on a wooden board, nailed to a leaning post. Route 6, final delivery only. I hit the brakes, screamed into the fog like it could hear me. Where is this going? What do you want? And from behind me, a voice answered, "Just finish the route." I didn't look. I couldn't. I drove for what felt like hours. Time didn't exist anymore. The clock had frozen again, back at 3:07. The world felt like an echo. I started seeing buildings again, but they weren't warehouses, they were homes. Familiar. Too familiar. Same block, same porch, same door. Over and over. Every time I stopped, the app would say, "Arrived at destination, deliver to door." But the house would be empty, dark, silent. Until the fifth stop, when the porch light turned on. I stepped out of the car with the box, hands trembling, walked up the steps. Knocked. And the door opened on its own. No sound, just a slow creak. Inside was black, no furniture, no movement, but something deep inside whispered, "Bring it in." I wanted to leave. I should have run, but I crossed the threshold, because deep down, I think I already knew this wasn't about delivery. It was about becoming the delivery. I stepped into the dark. The door closed behind me. And the world changed. I don't remember what happened after that. Not clearly. Just flashes. My own voice, repeating something I didn't say. The sensation of being carried. Reflections of people I'd never met, all with my face, all smiling. And a long, endless hallway lined with identical doors. Each marked with a name. Mine was near the middle. Box already inside. Waiting for me to open it. I woke up in the van. Same seat, same uniform. Except the van was parked. In a different city. Sun just rising. Engine off. Phone in my pocket. One new notification: delivery complete. Thank you for choosing Route 6. The app had reset. New queue. New jobs, new profile picture. But the face in the profile photo wasn't mine. Not anymore. That was 3 nights ago. I haven't told anyone. What would I say? That I followed a glitched delivery job into a parallel loop of empty roads, haunted warehouses, and infinite drivers who were never seen again. That I was absorbed by the system? That I'm not entirely sure if I ever really left. Because the worst part is this. Last night, I passed a warehouse on the edge of town. The sign out front, Tanner Distribution. And parked outside was a van. Same make. Same dent. My sticker on the back window. And when I looked through the windshield, I was sitting inside, gripping the wheel, eyes wide, mouth open like I'd been screaming for hours.